Professor, and today we're going to be doing a coaching session for Jolty, and this is going to be a Morgana support in patch 9.7. So special thanks to Jolty for the generous donation. If you'd like a coaching session yourself, just drop by the stream sometime. It starts around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, usually goes till about 2:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's just $25 on stream, $5 if you're a member. If you want to know how to become a member, just check the link in the description. If you want to watch more coaching sessions, I'll also have a playlist in the description as well. But membership's basically just $5 a month. It's like a Twitch sub, and you get a discount on coaching, guides. You get to play with us every Sunday in normals games. That's a lot of fun. And you get access to our members-only Discord. So it's really cool if you want to support the channel. It's got some nice perks with it. Be sure to check that out. But let's go ahead and get in here. So Morgana's in a pretty good place overall in this patch, I think. She's primarily used as an anti-CC type of champ, so I would really, recommend playing her as a counter pick rather than as a blind pick, but they don't have a lot of CC. So in theory, Sona is a good pick in a Morg, I think. A pretty good pick. But, if you bust them up like that early on, then you have some good advantage. Yeah, just walk them in here. There you go, nice. Good. Way to hold on to your Q. I think a lot of skill shot champs will make the mistake of just throwing it right away. But yeah, you just want to walk him into those walls. I'd be very careful walking there. If he flashes and Qs you, you could die. You're really counting on that Draven. I don't know. Udyr does a lot of damage early. Especially with red buff. I think he could have flashed and Q'd you. Or he had bear stance too. Yeah, if he flash stunned and then Q auto, or auto and then Q for the reset, I'm pretty sure you would have died right there. Especially once you miss the Q. I believe this rank is silver. I'm not 100%. But I think this is a silver game that we're watching here. It's either silver or high bronze. Hey Shim, I am currently platinum 2. I am personally platinum 2 right now. The game that we're watching is silver 2. Or I don't know, silver 3. Okay. Jolty says it's silver 3. Just speed through some of this a little bit. Try to play up a little bit more, just have a bit more presence if you can. I know when you're stuff's on cooldown, but Sona's playing so far back, she's so scared of you. Just hold on to your Qs too. Just stand there and just be threatening. It's kind of like Blitzcrank, you get a lot of your power as Blitz by not even throwing your hooks. Just the threat of your hook being there. If you're standing up close to them on the front line, is just really menacing. So just try to stand up there, especially if this Sona's not going to hit you, if she's not going to punish you for walking up there like that. I just get pretty close to her. Now, this is pretty dangerous if Udyr comes running out of there. So, yeah, you got to kind of let that one go, I think. Which champs are better counter picks for Draven? You mean counter picks against Draven or champions that are good with Draven? The 4 is kind of throwing me off there a little bit. Who counters Draven? I mean, it just depends on your overall comp. I mean, he's very lane oppressive. A lot of it's going to depend on your jungler. He's pretty easy to gank, but he's very, very oppressive. And I think Nami's pretty decent. He doesn't have a lot of escapes. If you land a bubble, you can potentially kill him. You can heal through tough lanes. So, Nami has really good ganks also. If your jungler shows up, she has lots of tools to help with ganks. Really good gank assist, so. If you have another champ, if you have an 80 carry that does a lot of damage early, you can go Zyra. So Zyra, Misfortune, something like that could work also, in theory. But in general, he's going to be lane dominant, so he's going to win a lot of lanes. If it's a good Draven. Without jungle help. That's kind of his thing. Some of the problem with stuff like Zyra, though, is that early game he tends to get lifesteal, Bloodthirster, and it can be very difficult to poke him down. You basically have to all in him. Yeah, Zillion can work in theory, too. I mean, Nami can hit bubbles where his axe is going to go also. Not a lot you could do about that. I mean, I guess if you could have black shielded the Q if you were waiting for it. The black shield won't stop an auto, but it does stop the Q. Yeah, hard engage stuff can work too, like Nautilus and Thresh, Blitz, Pike. That's one of the problems with Morg. It's like, if they get a Fed Zed or Talon or something like that, your shield doesn't do anything about that. Yeah, Draven shouldn't have stayed. He was really greeting out, hoping for a BF sword probably. It's tough. You really need to like call your jungler in to help you out with that kind of situation if you're both just kind of pinned under tower. Just say, hey, can you come hold the tower? Or maybe even like, hey, can you come down and gank this? Yeah, one thing I would say with a lot of these Qs, you said it was on CD when Sona flashed. Just hold these Qs unless you're going to get a really high percentage Q. There's not really like a huge point in taking them, you know? Because like if they know you don't have Q, then they can run up and do whatever. Like right now, they can do whatever they want to you. In theory, they could just walk up and just start fighting you if they felt so inclined. Now, you guys see him on that ward. Or at least you should have. Okay, nice bind. If Sona ults, yeah, he's probably dead anyways. Maybe not. Okay. They hesitated. They didn't follow up immediately, so you got out. Yeah. It's tough. I think just calling the jungler and just tell him, like, hey, you know, even if he doesn't want to gank, just tell him, come here and get this farm. I mean, then maybe his ears will perk up a little bit that. Yeah, you got Echo collapsing. You really got to hit that Q, though. I think y'all get him anyways. But yeah, when they're, like, up against a wall like that, that's, like, a perfect time to try to hit those Qs. That takes off some of their dodge angles. Okay, nice. Good bind. Ult her, ult her, ult her. I mean, you're full health. Do you have stopwatch? Yeah, you have stopwatch. I would have definitely ulted her. As soon as she popped her head out of that, I would have ulted her and just run at her. Because she's not going to blow you up that fast right now. Wait, how'd your stopwatch break? Did you accidentally use it just now? I thought I looked and it wasn't broken a second ago. Oh, yeah, you broke it on accident. That's rough. 600 gold down the drain. Yeah, I would have run after that misfortune. She didn't have sums either. Oh. And the end. Everyone just always underestimates healers. It's like Sona's sitting right there, man. She heals. Yeah, no, I figured you accidentally did it. There's not much you can do about it. I just tell you, hey, don't do that. But, you know, not much to learn. Just had it on the wrong hotkey. I gotcha. Trying to ward. Yeah, Zed's coming down here. Y'all need to go. How fed is that Zed? He can still probably one-shot the Draven. But yeah, that's one thing for sure I would have run after that misfortune. You had some people kind of close to you too. If you just pinged it a lot, I think that they would have come over there. Because if you get her in that ult, and then your ult chains, and then your Q's going to come back off cooldown, and you can land it again. I mean, you could chain CC her for like 5 seconds. If you include the slow time, plus the stun time, plus the Q duration. Alright, how are we looking item-wise? We got Dirk to... What are we doing? Death Stance. A little old school. Okay, nice.
Red team double kill.
Wait, is your ult on cooldown? Okay, yeah, it was on cooldown. When did you use it? Did you use it right?
Turret plating will fall soon.
Let me look at that one more time here. I assume you queued one of them right here. Alright. I think I was looking at the minimap when you threw this. Okay, nice. Yeah, commit. Yeah, I would have committed and auto-attacked her a couple more times there. Draven does a lot of damage right now. Okay, nice.
Turret plating will soon fall. Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Ability boots, Russian stopwatch. Yeah, stopwatch is, especially because they have a Zed, stopwatch is nice. I've been recently, thinking about redemption a lot more on Morgana, just because, like, if you're not really frontlining with your ult, stopwatch or Zonya's doesn't get nearly as much value, but against Zed specifically is pretty good too, and against Vlad, saves you against both of their delayed ults. So that's pretty good. How many games in a new bracket before getting demoted? You mean, like, when you say bracket, do you mean, like, going from, like, silver 1 to gold 4, or do you mean, like, going from gold 4 to gold 3? It depends on your MMR. You are safe for a certain amount of games, but I don't know exactly what that is. And if you're talking, like, you literally just went there, or, like, you played a few games and you're just bouncing around 0. All of that depends. They don't really publish those numbers. When you go from, like, something like silver to gold, though, I'm pretty sure your MMR has to fall below, like, gold 2 before you get demoted. It's something like that, where you have to fall, like, significantly below 1 division. I mean, what should he be thinking right now in terms of macro and warding? The lanes are still up, so, you know, he should be thinking, like, you know, I need to position well in this lane. Draven's pretty far away, man. I mean, you got it, but it's, like, really dangerous if Udyr was around there. Yeah, you can't really macro, like, that much when there's no dragon, when the lanes are still up. Your macro is just try to pressure and get the lanes. Zed's coming down. I think in general it's about 2 divisions. So if you fall down to like silver 3 MMR, you could get demoted. Yeah, it doesn't block Nautilus's ult. Neither does Braum. But it's like, it's underground. It's not a projectile. It's kind of weird. Yeah, no problem, Shem. mean, there's not a lot to do here because all the lanes are open other than like contest scuttles and dragons. I mean, he could come over here and like try to ward a little bit deeper. You know, you could try to make a play on mid also. It's pretty hard to gank a Zed, but in general, if you're just winning your lane, I mean, Draven's down a lot of CS, but they're getting consistent kills. You know, you really don't want to roam too much, I don't think. And a big reason for that is like it's so risky to roam, and you're leaving the Draven alone, and he might just die when he's by himself. So most of the time, you're better off just like trying to play around your lane, especially if you're winning the lane. I think you're up a bit too far efficient for these Qs. Like they definitely punished you that time for it. Because Draven's just not really that close to you. Like you're way too far ahead. Like Draven's over here trying to farm, and you're like over here trying to hit Qs. A good rule of thumb is to think about your AD carry as like a line, you and your AD carry, and you need to be aligned with them most of the time. You don't want to step too much ahead of them, and you don't want to be hanging too far behind them. You need to be about on that same level as they are. So if he's back here farming like right here, you need to be like right here, you know, doing your thing, or maybe here. But if he can't get there in like a couple of steps, you're too far ahead. Oh, the outplays. Sadie, what do you want? What's your dragon? Where's the dragon timer? I'm blind. Oh, okay. It's like 1 minute. Can we not see the timer anywhere? I wouldn't shadow the AD carry. I would, you know, most of the time I would try to play even with them or slightly ahead of them as support, unless you're getting crushed. I think too many supports play behind the AD carry though, like, but it just depends on, you know, if they have a 5-0 Draven and you're playing Janna, it's like, yeah, maybe you have to play back a little bit more, but I still think you can posture aggressively. I would. Well, maybe not. I guess it is kind of dangerous. I was thinking maybe you could stick around and throw a one more Q or something, like max range Q. Sort of, Lev. I don't know. I don't think the supports are necessarily beholden to the AD carry at all times, though. You know, if the AD carry is not doing very well, I think that supports, you know, an argument could be made for supports roaming or trying to get deeper vision in the jungle. Or also, like, just if someone else is doing way better and they're way more important in team fights and you only have so many resources, just do everything you can to protect your major win con, which might mean you let your AD carry die. So it's like sort of, you know, in a sort of default, the default position is that, you know, you should stick to your AD carry and just try to do everything you can to help them, but sometimes it can get a little tricky. Okay, nice. I feel like there should have been somewhere in there you could have ulted, and Zonya's. You didn't have your flash. I don't know. Maybe it was a little too dangerous, but Zed's like really strong these days. I don't know. Every time I see Zed in a game, he's just like taking over. You're not letting your AD carry die late game. I mean, sometimes like that's kind of a good default position to have because AD carries are really good. But like, you know, if you have an 0-8 Callista and you know you've got an 8-0 Akali and you've got one shield, you know, and both of them are taking super heavy damage, you better put that shield on the Akali. Oh my god, Teemo's taking over. Look at him. He's auto-attacking like a madman. Is he going on hit, Teemo? Of course he is. On hit. Zhonya's Hourglass. I swear, I really don't think Teemo and his kit is like as bad as he seems to be. And so it's just like nobody builds him correctly. He's one of the most misunderstood champions in the game, I think, honestly. In terms of like people just don't know what to do on that champion. It doesn't seem like it'd be that hard. Ludens, Leandries, like Void Staff, like it's not that. Maybe Nashers if you want some on hit, you know. But outside of that, I don't get it. Why you would do anything except for those items. Like there's definitely an argument for Ludens, there's an argument for Nashers, and then like Leandries should be very early. Just if you want the attack speed or if you want the extra mana and AP. What do I suggest on Teemo? Yeah, just pretty much what I just said. I think Sork Boots. Probably still Oblivion Orb, just the double pin items. Ludens, and then Leandries. Ludens has that nice little extra burst damage, gives you 20% CDR, like good mana. Just like churn out the shrooms with high damage. The extra damage proc off of Ludens also triggers or interacts with Spell Pin really well. What do you get to here? Redemption next. Okay. Prove that message. Oh god, the triple stun. Yeah. I feel like there has to be a way you can get in there earlier. Like there has to be, right? I mean, this is like the second or third fight where I've seen your ult still up. You have Zhonya's, right? Yeah, like... I mean, I know you're low on mana, but like, let's look at the mana management here. Hold on. You've got a lot of mana here. Like, there's nobody that can CC him, like, really close. So I just wouldn't even Black Shield that. And I think at this point, just like... you know, just be more conservative with your W's. Or your Q's, rather. You don't need to throw Q's, like, just save it. Wait till you get a high percentage shot. You definitely don't need to put just a random W down. It's just not going to do enough damage to matter, and you've oomed yourself, like, when your team is posturing to fight. So just try to be a lot more conservative with your mana, especially if you're going to be playing, going Zhonya's first. If you had Redemption, maybe you could spam a bit more, but... It's like right here, if you had stayed a bit closer, like you hear Echo's thing, you know that he's throwing this, right? So if you stayed a bit closer, and if you had a bit more mana, right? If you had like 200 mana, because you didn't waste it on like some of the stuff we just talked about a second ago, then you could have been like right here and turned around and ulted all three of them. And then your team probably would have won that fight. But this is like the second or third fight that I've seen where you weren't able to get your ult off, and I think you're playing too far back a lot of times. Like right here, yes, you're out of resources, but like I said, if you'd been a bit more conservative with the mana, you could have had the resources to do it. So like, especially if you're especially if you're going the Zhonya's build, like you're sacrificing a lot of team utility to go Zhonya's, right? Like you're not getting Redemption, you're not getting Ardent Sensor. There are a lot of other really good items you could be getting to help your team out. And so if you're going to do that, it's fine, but you have to make really good use of your ult with that Zhonya's. So yeah, one thing definitely is just stop casting the W. Unless there's like binded or CC, just don't do it. It's like you're gonna proc Airy on him and maybe do like 100 damage total. Like it's just not worth it at this point in the game. Like earlier on in the game, yeah, maybe it's worth because you're getting Spell Thief procs, right? So you can get to your wards faster. So in the laning phase, yeah, throwing up some W's just to get a couple of procs, you know, that can make sense sometimes. That can run you out of mana too if you do it too much in the laning phase. That can kind of make sense. But, you know, like 28 minutes into the game, like that little bit of damage and you getting an extra 10 gold or something is not going to be as important as having your mana when you need it. Okay, nice. That's a good hit. Yeah, you need the W for the quest, like I just talked about. So in the laning phase, it makes sense, but 28 minutes into the game does not make sense. Not if you're going to be owned for team fights. Like I said, if you're rushing Redemption first, you know, maybe it's a different conversation, but you need to at least ult before you use Zhonya's. Like, if you'd ulted there, it would have, like, these guys might have been able to clean this up. So that's like the third fight that I can remember where you haven't ulted. So you really, really got to get on this ult business. And you need to just like, as soon as you walk in, just look for places to ult. It doesn't even have to be the perfect ult, just anything. Like right here. As soon as you wake up off of this, just ult and then Zhonya's immediately. Then at least you're doing some more damage, you know? Like, Teemo might have been able to kill Vlad before he healed if you got that ult off.
Team's turret has been destroyed. Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, Teemo could be up in his stream game. I mean, honestly, like, you can't really expect much out of a Teemo, especially one that's building like that, but I think there are definitely some opportunities, you know, on the table here. Like, if you just found a way to ult in some of these fights, I legit think that your team could have won at least one of these fights. Well, it was a Zhonya's left, so he didn't lose the stopwatch on it. I think that would have actually been a good play if he just ulted first, or like, it could have been an impactful play, we'll say that. Yeah, Teemo does 0 damage right now because Wits End, because he's going on hit Teemo. Like, Wit's End, he probably, like, thinks that it still shreds magic resist or something. I don't know what he thinks, but it has no magic damage on it. Your mushrooms don't benefit from attack speed.
Red team's inhibitor has been
You know,
destroyed.
this doesn't have any AP on it. Like, all that he's got is Zhonya's, which has, like, okay AP, but it has no pen or anything like that. So he just doesn't do any damage right now.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
I mean, maybe if the enemy team sits there, it lets him auto up like 10 times. No, stopwatch is not the same as Zhonya, because Zonya's replenishes, obviously. You know, every 2 minutes. So it's a lot more brutal to use stopwatch. Especially if you're not going to complete Zonya's immediately thereafter. Dark Harvest is pretty good. I mean, I could definitely see an argument for doing like Airy still though. Airy's just so good with his poison mechanic. But yeah, something. Not Grasp. Which is what he has right now. Whoa. Get in there, get in there. Oh. It's like the 4th or 5th fight where you haven't ulted. Like, I think you gotta find a way to get in there. And he was playing way too far back. Like, right there even. You know? Just something. Even if you just walk up and just tap him with the ult, just to put damage on him. And even if you have to run away before you can get the full chains, like, just anything is better than nothing, you know what I mean? Or like right here, just tap her. Like if you just tapped her right there, that mushroom didn't trigger for some reason. I think it should have, but... Yeah, but just ult. Like, just ult the Udyr. Just something. Just put your ult on cooldown, you know? It's a pretty short cooldown.
A summoner has disconnected.
I mean, you don't always have to have the best, like, flash in the middle, get, like, 5-person ult, you know? Sometimes just getting an ult on somebody who's pretty close to the back line, even if it's just one person. I don't think he did, Sammy. I literally don't know if he's ulted all game. Maybe in the laning phase or something? Although I think I remember, like, saying that there should have been an ult in the laning phase more. I'm sure he's ulted at some point, but there's been, like, numerous fights. And I think maybe the problem is you're just waiting, like, for that perfect ult, you know, where you can get, like, all 5 people and stick the stun. But sometimes you just gotta just deal with what you got, you know? Right there, just ult him. Walk up and ult the Vlad. Right, just ult him right now. Ult him. Just press R. Like he's gonna get away. Yeah, you gotta press ult there. Like I said, even if you're not gonna... Right now, just ult him. Okay, y'all finally got him. Well, it also just straight does damage. Like, people forget that. Like, the ult does okay damage, you know, if you press it. Yeah, people might disengage and run away and things like that, but it slows them. It speeds you up. Solid Teemo damage, yeah. I mean, you're gonna have goofy people on your team, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, y'all are, like, down a lot of dragons, and Teemo's having a hard time. You know, he's looking at a guide from, you know, 4 years ago on Mobify or something, but You got to focus on what, you know, you can do, right? And I think that's definitely something like 100%. I just want you, whenever you're playing Morg, whenever a team fight breaks out, I just want that ult to be on cooldown. Yeah, it does stick to him while he's in the pool, but it doesn't even matter. Like, you could have gotten him after the pool. I'm just saying use it. Like, people are saying, are you saying ult and run away? I'm saying any possible use of an ult where you're just doing damage, even if it breaks immediately, is better than never using it for, like, at least 20 minutes. You know what I mean? It's a short cooldown. I mean, I think right now, I don't know exactly. I think it starts at 120 seconds. It goes down from there. I mean, it's going to be up basically every fight. Yeah, but he was that close. If you start your ult and then Vlad pulls, it does stay on him, so you can potentially stun him. Oh, it's all good, Sona. Or Sammy. No, we're just we're coaching the Morgana this game. No, it will stun him while he's in his pool. He doesn't get away from that. Just like once Zed puts his mark on you, or once you're ignited or something, you can still die and your pool is Vlad. It just makes you untargetable. It doesn't make you invulnerable to damage. So yeah, you cannot start the ult while he's pooled, but if you start it before he pools and then you stick close to him, then the stun will go off on him. Yeah, I mean, it does pretty good damage. I mean, yeah, it's like almost 500 damage. It's 467 damage if you just tap him with the first part of it. Even if they break it immediately, that's a lot of damage. I mean, Vlad definitely dropped below 500 damage before he healed back up several times that one fight. Yeah, it's on a 55-second cooldown. It's less than 1 minute cooldown right now, so you definitely have it up every fight. Yeah, just use it. Like, the range on it is, it's like, I don't remember the exact range on it. I think it's 550. It might be 400. I was not saying in the tooltip here. But you gain 55% movement speed too. Yeah, I mean, it's just a common thing in every fight. It's not just the Vlad, but it's been like numerous fights here where I think you're playing way too far back. And just use the ult, even if you don't get the stun, even if the slow doesn't matter, just for the pure damage. And just ult someone close to you. You don't have to ult their backline. If it's Udyr and he's running after the 80 carry, just go ahead and ult him. You know, like Zed, like ults your 80 carry or whatever, just ult him, just for the damage. You know, just like I said, anything is better than nothing, right? So you can work on the optimal usage like later, but just start getting used to just using it whenever it's available. Like right there. I mean, you're probably going to lose at this point anyways, but... Okay, so definitely the ult usage. We talked about it a lot. Like, I'm legit not sure if you ulted in the last 20 minutes. So you got to find some way to get it in there somehow. You know, we've talked about that a lot. Just try to get the ult down somewhere, even if it's like not the perfect place. Just put it on cooldown every fight, because it's going to be up every fight. Also, if you're not rushing redemption, like we talked about a second ago, don't spam like mana on. Like, don't just spam Qs at people, and especially not W, not this late in the game. Look for those really good opportunities for Q where people are going to be distracted, or like even better yet, get behind walls or like get into bushes that you know are clear. Like if they're pushing up to your tier 2 middle, You know, if they're like, you know, coming up in this lane, which is what they were doing earlier, you know, just stand like right here or something. See if you can throw a Q over this wall. But just try to get like out of sight and throw those Qs. But you don't really want to spam your Q on cooldown when it's open field like that because, you know, a lot of times they will punish you for that. They'll say, okay, Morg doesn't have her Q, we're going in. You know, and you'd be missing a key cooldown. So, and even in the laning phase, just having that Q like ready as a threat. You know, you don't have to throw it every time it's off cooldown, but just having it just ready and just like posturing up front and just letting them be a little scared, right? They don't know if you're going to throw it or not. You did hit some really good Qs in the laning phase for sure. So you did hit some, but I think that you're just pulling the trigger a bit too often and you're creating these like just windows of vulnerability too much. Now, they didn't exploit that too much in this game. How long was that muted? Okay, I turned it off. I don't remember what I was saying there, but anyway, okay, so the TLDR, off of the mute, I must have just grabbed the mic or something. TLDR, what you need to focus on is stay parallel with your AD carry in the laning phase. Don't go too far forward. Hold on to your Q more. Don't throw it all the time. You know, you're creating too many windows of vulnerability there, and definitely use that ult, put it on cooldown somewhere, some way, somehow. Anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. Sorry about the mute there at the end. If you'd like a coaching session yourself, just email me at thestratchprofessor@gmail.com. I'm happy to help you out with that. If you want to watch more coaching sessions, you can find a link in the description. Be sure to check it out. We have 170 coaching sessions and growing on there, so plenty of content for you. We do tier lists every patch. We also have topical guides like best one trick, how to macro, over 40 or 50 different topical guides as well. So just tons and tons of content. Check it out. That's going to be it. Have a good day. See you next time.